Survival required sharing the prehistoric landscape with massive, lethal animals. Stepping into the brush meant being outsized and outpaced. For hundreds of thousands of years, early humans relied on the raw stopping power of the wooden thrusting spear. Examples like the Shawnigan spears, carved from solid spruce, were built to withstand intense physical pressure. These heavy weapons were the primary tools of the Neanderthals. Wielding a thick, hand-thrusted spear required immense physical strength to drive the point deep into a target's hide. But the heavy spear had a fatal tactical flaw. It forced hunters to close the distance. Making a kill meant engaging dangerous game in highly volatile, close-quarters combat. To evolve past the stalemate, humans needed a way to deliver lethal force without entering the immediate strike zone of their prey. The first mechanical solution to the problem of distance was the atlatl. This device features a wooden handle with a hook that engages a dart's butt. Acting as a lever, it extends the throwing arm, launching projectiles up to 150 kilometers per hour. However, the atlatl requires a large, conspicuous overhead motion to generate power. This violent movement often alerted the target, making stealth nearly impossible. There was also an environmental limit. The 5-foot-long darts were unwieldy in thick brush, where long shafts easily snagged on branches and dense vegetation. Human expansion into new environments required a weapon that offered range and speed, but could be fired from a concealed, stationary position. Early humans likely realized they could harness mechanical tension by observing pre-existing tools, such as the snap of a bent sapling in an animal trap, or the cord of a bow drill used for starting fires. Proving exactly when the first bow was strung is difficult. Because wood, sinew, and plant fibers rot away over millennia, the weapons themselves are almost entirely absent from the fossil record. Instead, the trail leads back to the Middle Stone Age layers of Sibudu Cave in South Africa 70,000 years ago. While wooden bow staves vanished, archaeologists found what remained: highly standardized, tiny bone and stone projectile points. When researchers subjected these points to high-resolution CT scans, they found microscopic fractures and impact damage. These patterns perfectly match the wear found on modern arrowheads shot from replica bows. This confirms Homo sapiens had mastered composite weapons, combining tension, aerodynamics, and specialized adhesives, long before they permanently migrated into Eurasia. Now, we see the tactical impact of this technology 54,000 years ago at the Grotte-Mundrin cave site in France. The cave floor contains a rare record, alternating periods of occupation, where Neanderthals and Homo sapiens literally traded off this same site for generations. Inside the Homo sapiens layers, archaeologists discovered Neronian flint points, measuring only 1 centimeter in length. Physics suggests these were strictly arrowheads. The points were too light and inefficient to penetrate hide if thrown by hand or atlatl. They required the high velocity generated by a bow. In contrast, the Neanderthal layers show a continued reliance on heavy, dangerous, close-quarters spear technology. A bow allowed Homo sapiens to remain crouched and concealed. They maintained lethal force from tens of meters away with minimal body movement. This wasn't just a hunting upgrade. It provided an asymmetrical advantage over rivals, allowing humans to safely secure resources from a distance. The bow's adaptability eventually allowed it to replace the atlatl across nearly every continent, proving effective in both open plains and dense, tangled forests. In 7000 BC, the environment of a Danish peat bog provided the perfect conditions to preserve the physical wood. This site yielded the Holmegard bows, the oldest completely intact, undisputed bows ever discovered. These artifacts demonstrate deliberate engineering to manage stress. Broad inner limbs distribute the strain of the draw, allowing woods like elm to bend safely. The narrow, rigid handle doesn't absorb energy, channeling maximum velocity into the arrow. The refinement of the Holmegard design indicates that by 9,000 years ago, bowyery was already a mature and specialized technology. The bow and arrow stands as humanity's first complex, multi-part mechanical system. It allowed a physically vulnerable species to store muscular energy in wood and fiber, and release it to strike from safety. This technology provided the definitive edge that allowed Homo sapiens to thrive where other hominid species could not. By shifting the power dynamic of the prehistoric battlefield, the bow gave early humans the ability to move from survivors to the world's apex predators.